Hello. Let's take a deep breath before I get started because first of all, I'm so excited to share what's in this book with you because it genuinely changed my whole life. And second of all, I feel like I'm giving a presentation in middle school and I need to calm my nerves. So, all right, in through the nose. Let's get into it. We're going to read the 4 agreements. I'm going to summarize it for y'all and add my own little commentary, because I interpret things differently than you interpret them, but it's better than reading an audiobook. But I do recommend that you read the whole book or read the audiobook. But if you don't have time, I'm going to explain to you what it is and why it changed my life and how it can change yours. So it's the 4 agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. He's the best. So the book starts out. Also, sorry if I'm looking down. I love to maintain eye contact with you, baby, but I can't remember everything that's in a whole fucking book. Alright, so relax. Okay, so the introduction explains who the Toltecs are. So the Toltecs were scientists and artists who created this society designed to preserve spiritual knowledge. They wanted to preserve it and hide it because these people were gonna use the spiritual knowledge to do wrong. And they was not having that, no. So they hid it away and got it back out when they felt safe. And they shared it with the world when they felt the world would use it for good. And here we are, using this for good. So that's who the Toltecs were. That's who gave us this beautiful knowledge. Thank you, Toltecs. I needed it. So the book starts out with a story. This is the most confusing part of the book. If you get confused in old-timey books like this, it's really not confusing. It's a beautiful story. This man was a doctor and he had a dream, all right? The dream, he woke up and he went outside and he looked at the stars and he had a realization that the stars and him were the same. He was like, there is no difference between me and a star because we are all God. God created the stars and God created him and God created everything. And there's no difference between anything. We are all one collective thing, but light gives us the ability to interpret and receive the manifestation of God and of life. And so he realized that everything and everyone is a mirror that reflects back light. And the reason that human beings, all the people, didn't know that we are all God, and we still don't, many of us. I know now, thank you, book. But the reason they don't know is because there's a fog, alright? And the fog, it causes all the bad, it causes all the harm. This fog is the collective dream of society, the dream of the planet. The reason we can't see that we are all God and we are all a reflection of each other and of life, and everything is a reflection, a mirror. The reason we can't see that is because of this fog. So then the 2nd chapter gets into domestication and the dream of the planet. So the dream of the planet is a collection of society's rules, beliefs, laws, religions, etc. And you're taught these at a very young age because when you're born into this world, you're not domesticated, you're not fitting into society, causes a ruckus for everyone. So the people have to domesticate children. And so in order to do that, we tell them what is and what is not. And when you're a child, you just take in the information and you store that shit away and you believe it to be fact. So when someone tells you something, especially as a child, and this can continue into adulthood, until someone like me comes along and tells you that is all wrong. It's all a lie, baby. So listen up, because this is important, okay? So all of these rules are created because someone will tell you something as a child or even an adult, and it could be an opinion. It could not be real. It could be completely false, completely made up. We don't know. But if someone tells us something, a statement, we have the choice then to either agree with the statement or disagree. So when we agree, our brain takes that agreement and stores it away, and when it gets stored away, it gets ingrained and locked in, and we then, from that agreement point on, we believe that to be truth, with like unconditional truth. Like there is no confusion. Like that is what is true in our brains because we agreed on whatever the thing was. All right. So when we're given rules and religions and laws and all that shit, and just all of our beliefs that we're given as a child might be lies, but our brain just don't know how to differentiate yet. So we just take it because we have to. We have to take something in. Like we have to take knowledge as a child. That's how you learn, but we never learn to question. No one ever taught us to question as a child. It's basically what this entire book is about. Oh my god, sorry. So, we believe it unconditionally. And then after we create that agreement and create that belief, society gives you this whole reward and punishment system. So if you have a belief and hold a belief and it matches society's dream of the planet, it matches that belief, then you're good to go. And if you always follow it, then you're good to go. But if you rebel that belief, no matter what the belief is, it does not matter if the belief is real or not. If you rebel from it, if you rebel from society's rules, you're gonna be punished. Someone's gonna punish you, like your parents, the teacher, or someone, or just like your friends in school or whatever. They're gonna make fun of you, even though it's not deserved. It doesn't matter if it's deserved or not, or if it makes sense or not. That's what it is. That's the rule society set. That's the dream of the planet. It is what it is. So you're gonna get punished or you're gonna get rewarded. So you develop this tendency to do everything to please others. And that's all you can do, is please others, because if you please everyone else, then you get rewarded. If you please yourself, what you want might be against society's rules. And then the society will punish you. So you can't do what you want. You have to do what pleases others, or you'll get punished as a child. But you can avoid this punishment through these fucking agreements. So fear is the controlling factor of the outside agreement. This creates the dream of hell. If you live in fear of everything, it's basically the same as hell, the same hell that's described in most religions. Living in fear, living because of fear, doing everything out of fear, fear of being punished, fear of being rejected, etc., you're living in hell. You don't have to live in hell. You do not have to live in hell because you can break all these agreements. You have the ability to break the agreements you have that hurt you. So the agreements that you make with yourself, the opinions you take in and agree upon, create your reality and create your personality. Agreements make up your personality. They're the same. So if you change your agreements, you're going to change your personality your personality, which therefore changes your reality, your life. All right. So the first chapter is called Be Impeccable with Your Word. So this is the most important chapter. Pay attention, okay? This shit's important. This chapter 1, creates, like, you gotta have, it's the foundation, okay? The foundation for the other 3 agreements, all right? So let's define impeccable. Impeccable means without sin. So when you speak words to people, you want to make sure they are all words that don't harm you or others, okay? Because if you walk down the street and you look at someone and you say, your outfit is so ugly, that girl, her outfit is so ugly, that girl's not gonna like you. No, honey, why would she like you? So that girl not liking you, now maybe even hating you, now that girl's gonna go and say, oh my god, this ugly ass bitch told me she hated my outfit in the streets. What a motherfucker, I hate her, she sucks. So what fucking good did that do? What good did your dumb comment do for you? Nothing. It hurts you. So if you say a positive statement, oh my gosh, I love your outfit, you're so creative, and you mean that shit, that's gonna create positivity. That girl's gonna love you now. The girl will do you a favor any day. That girl's gonna help you out in life. All right, so that's just an easy, simple example. But the word is so powerful. The use of your word is more powerful than you know. It is magic. It is a spell. So they refer to it in the book as black and white magic. But white magic is what you create with your word when it is positive. And black magic is what you create with your word when it is negative. Alright, so when you're little, here's another example. When you're little, imagine you're singing along one day. Yeah. And your mama, she has a headache, okay? She got a bad headache, she had a long day at work. She forgot to drink water. Her bad. But she got a headache, okay? It happens. And she's like, oh my gosh, shut up to you because you're singing da-da-da, and it's making her head worse, okay? And she's like, oh my god, can you stop? Your voice is so annoying. Like, you're annoying me right now. Can you stop? Your voice is so annoying. Stop. Now, you take that and you agree with her. Oh no, my voice is annoying. Oh no, it is. And you take the opinion she had, which literally wasn't true at all. It had nothing to do with you. Had nothing to do with you, okay? It had to do with her headache, but you don't know that. And so you take it because you're a little kid and you believe your mom at all times. You always believe your mom. Of course you'll believe your mom. She loves you. And you take that and you store it away. You agree. It becomes a fact. And you go the rest of your damn life, the rest of your life thinking you have a bad voice. What if he was gonna be a singer? Like, so sad. So your mama put a spell on you. That's black magic. She put a spell on you. And now you have this belief that's not real. It's not true. It's not. Because girl called you ugly at school. It's not true. It's a lie. It's because they felt insecure in themselves because of their own agreements. Had nothing to do with you. No. Okay, I'm getting sidetracked. I lost my pen. Okay. So, self-rejection is the biggest sin. So when you walk around and you're like, oh my god, I look so fat. I'm so ugly. You're literally saying that God, because you are God. You are the universe. You are the divine creation of the universe. So if you're literally like, oh yeah, I'm so ugly. That is so disrespectful to the universe. They fucking spent so long creating you. Like, you were such a complicated being to create. Do you know how hard it was to get you to be birthed. There's literally millions and millions and millions and millions of eggs and sperm, and you had to go through all of this evolution. Like, we used to be fish or some shit, okay? And you still exist somehow. Like, do you know the probability of your existence is so low? You are art. You are art created by the universe. The universe manifested you into life. You are beautiful. Your existence is literally mind-blowing. And you're like, I'm ugly. Like, shut the fuck up. That's rude, first of all. First of all, it's rude to the mother nature, excuse me, and the universe. They spent so long creating you. Don't do that. You're rejecting God. So that is a sin. Self-rejection is a sin. So, like, if you can't accept yourself and love yourself, you're sinning. You know, like, obviously, it doesn't have to be religious, okay? It can be, like, spiritual or whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter. It's the truth, okay? Do you want to know the truth or not? Okay, so you are God. So worship yourself, alright? The truth breaks agreements. The most black magic shit you can do is gossip, bro. Just go around talking shit all the time. I still do this sometimes, alright? You know, sometimes life gets annoying, okay? But do your fucking best, alright? Do your best. That's another agreement, by the way. Spoiler! So, if you love yourself and speak words of love, it sounds cheesy at first, it really does. I had a hard time at first. I remember this one time when I first learned that you're supposed to speak words of love and not just talk shit and say stuff like, I'm gonna, trigger warning, I'm gonna kill myself. I used to say that, bro. Like, what? I thought it was funny. Like, that's not funny at all. No one's laughing. Jokes are supposed to be funny. Ever thought of that? So if you're saying shit like, oh, I'm so ugly, I'm gonna kill myself, like, stop. Stop doing that. Please, I'm begging you. Don't say shit like that. It is black magic. It is bad. Stop gossiping about other people because you're just spreading black magic all over the place. Bad energy. Bad energy is not going to get you anywhere. How is gossiping going to get you somewhere in life? It's not, okay? Be impeccable with your word. Your word means a lot to other people. If you call someone ugly, they might believe that they're ugly for the rest of their lives. That might literally change their life. Because they might take that and agree, okay? So you need to be impeccable with your word. You need to be nice. Oh yeah, the story I was gonna tell. When I first learned this, I met like a few people who actually spoke like this and actually like walked around and said, I love everything. I'm so happy to be here. I am like positive words. I didn't like know you could speak to people like that. Like I didn't know you could speak to strangers. Like, thank you so much. You are amazing. I appreciate everything you do. I'm so glad I met you. I didn't know you could talk to people like that. Isn't that fucking crazy? I didn't know you could talk to people like that. And I met this guy in the gym right after I learned this. I met this dude in the gym. My camera overheated, which I didn't even know it could do that, but I made this tea, so. Okay, so I met this guy in the gym and I was like practicing what I learned in this book, I think, and from what I learned from the other people that I met that were great and positive. And like I met him and I was like, oh my gosh, hey, like, and we talked for like 20 fucking minutes, which is kind of a long time to just stand and talk around with someone in the gym. And I texted him like after, because he gave me his number, and I said some shit like, oh my god, so nice to meet you, so proud of the progress you've made in the gym, because he was talking about how much he was grinding. Like that's what the conversation was about. And I was just said something really fucking positive, like overly positive. That's what I did. I was like, I'm so happy, I can't wait to see the rest of, like, or I can't wait to see you progress in the future or some shit like that. And he responded, what the fuck, are you high? That's what he responded, bro. Looking back on it now, at the time I was so embarrassed. I was like, what the fuck, like, oh, like I was coming on too strong or whatever. Like, but looking back, I'm like, no, he was just sad. Like, poor man. Like he had never had someone be so nice in his whole damn life, that man, because at the time I was like 19 or whatever, a little kid, and he had never had someone be so nice that he thought I was crazy. At the time I was embarrassed, but now that I've like really gotten through this book and developed myself, I know who I am, and I know that being positive is not fucking embarrassing. Why would I ever be embarrassed of being positive? You're never going to feel bad for being positive and saying positive things to others and to yourself. You will never regret that, ever. So if you are always positive, if you are always speaking from love at all times, and you refrain from saying negative, bad, gossip, whatever, like, you are immune. That's what he says in the book. You're immune to gossip. You're immune to shit talkers. So if you only ever say positive shit to yourself and to others, you're only ever impeccable with your word, and someone comes up to you on the street, you're ugly. You're completely immune to their statements. You no longer will accept their opinion and keep it and hold that agreement and hold it as truth. You won't do that because everyone around you tells you you're beautiful, and you tell yourself you're beautiful. If you do that every day, you're not gonna believe a random fucking person on the street. Why would you believe them? You know for a fact that you are beautiful. You know it. Because that's all you tell yourself, and that's all other people tell you. The more positive shit you say, you'll attract positive people. So the reason I didn't talk to that man again after he asked if I was high, like on crack or something, is because he was a negative ass person and I'm a positive ass person, and so therefore I only attract positive people. When I speak positive statements, I only attract positivity back. That's the only way it works. It does not work any other way. That is the law of the universe. So when you learn the truth, like I learned the truth that I am beautiful, shit changed, bro. The truth will break your agreements. The truth is that I am beautiful. That is the truth. Stop. And I broke the agreement. I'm no longer insecure. I don't feel insecurity. I do not feel embarrassment. I don't get those emotions. I don't get negative emotions anymore because I know the truth. Learn the truth. The truth will set you free, baby. All right. Oh, one more thing on that chapter. Gossip. Like that. That is like a virus. Like, have you ever thought about that? It's like, imagine your computer gets a virus, okay? And then you go try to use the computer, and you just spreading you're spreading the virus all around you. Oh dear. I low-key forgot that analogy. Let's move on. If you love yourself and you keep putting these positive thoughts into your mind, the seeds will sprout up everywhere. Like, it won't be hard after long at all, because like one positive thought will lead to the next, and you'll say that shit out loud, and then they'll say positive things back to you. When you put out positivity, it comes back. People want to compliment you more because you compliment them. You make them feel good. If you make others feel good, they're going to want to make you feel good. Revolving door. Plant the seeds. They'll grow. So if you plant, so you got like negative, gnarly branches, like meh, meh, meh. Everything's hard. Life sucks. Nothing works out for me. I'm ugly. Blech. And then you plant like one little seed that's like, actually, I love myself. And then like someone compliments you, and then it grows a little more, then it grows a little twig, and then keep complimenting, and then like you no longer say this statement, and then you no longer say this statement, and then like eventually the tree will just overcome the other tree and fight that shit off. And that negative ass tree that was close to dying anyways, just fucking fade away, rot in the soil. You'll be good to go, alright? Because then it would be like, flowers blooming everywhere. Okay. So anyways, chapter 2, the second agreement. It's not even in chapters. I don't know what I'm talking about. The second agreement is don't take anything personally. This one really gets me going. And as you can see, it branches off the first one. Like, just think about it, okay? This one pisses me off because when you take things personally, someone says something about you, to you, and you take it personally, like, you're like, oh my god, can't believe they said that, like, they must hate me. That is so selfish. Like, you really think everything everyone says to you is about you? No, it's not. Everyone lives in their own little world. They have their own shit. They're the fucking director, recorder, producer, actor of their own movie. They're the main character. Everything in that person's life revolves around them. Everything in their life has to do with them. It does not have to do with you. It does not. I promise. So if they get mad because they were literally abused as a child and they've carried that anger and they have agreements with themselves that they created in their own head, that they took in and they agreed and they made their own opinions and shit. They have their own agreements in their head that have nothing to do with you because they were created when they were little and they held on to that shit. And then they get angry and fearful and shameful and they do some self-rejection. They hate themselves, okay? If they hate themselves and they come along like at work or in the streets or whatever and they're like, oh, you suck, yeah, whatever. That has nothing to do with you. It's them. It's their past. It's their agreements. It's their trauma that is causing them to be angry. That's causing them to tell you something negative. If they're speaking something and it is negative, sad, mad, whatever, and they say it to you and they direct it at you, it does not have anything to do with you. Are you following? So if you're like, take that shit to heart and you let your emotions be affected by someone else's opinion, someone else's comment, and you're like, how dare they? You are so selfish. Like, you really think the world revolves around you? It doesn't. It doesn't. We are all God. That person is just sad, and maybe you should help them. Maybe you should be more positive to them because they obviously have some agreements that they need to break. They obviously don't like themselves. They don't feel free to be themselves. So what is you being like, fuck you, yeah, you suck. Like, what is that doing for anyone? It's doing nothing. It's just like spreading more emotional poison. Spreading more black magic around. If you take the shit personally and then do more harm, like literally what are you doing? You're not helping anyone, you're not helping yourself. You're just being negative. Like, stop. It's not about you. It's really not. Even if someone literally comes up to you and shoots you, like attacks you, it's like, fuck you, I hate you. Even if they do that, it literally still isn't about you. No matter how directed. Like, you are ugly. Yeah, I hate you. Yeah, you suck. Your mama ugly, your auntie ugly, your dog ugly. Yeah, you. Whatever your name is. You're ugly. It's not, don't take it personally. It's still not about you. Still. Does not matter. Nothing is about you. Nothing. Are you following? Nothing. Don't take it personally. So you can take the information that they're giving you and you can use your own deductive reasoning, logic, not emotions. Use your logical brain to figure out if what they're saying is true or false. Keep in mind your own agreements, and if they are also true or false, they could be false. So use all that information that you have, be logical, and decide whether or not it's true or false, or if you want to change your behavior based on what they said. They might be right also. Sometimes it can be the opposite, where what the person is saying is true, and if you took the information from them, it might help you. But because of your own agreements that are false, you can't hear them. The fog is in the way, and you can't progress because you're not listening. You're not using your deductive reasoning to collect whether they're right or wrong. Okay? Once you use your deductive reasoning, you will develop a sense of self because you will know who you are, and you will no longer need others to accept you. So, like, the reason you're taking it so personally is because you are confused about your own agreements. You don't believe, like, you know deep down that some of the agreements you've made with yourself might be false, but you can't figure out which are which, blah blah. You won't take the time to go through it. So you're like a little bit confused about your personality because your agreements make up your personality, right? So when you're confused about that, you don't know who you are, right? Because you're confused what is truth and what is false about yourself and your agreements. And so when other people comment on your personality and your agreements and try to object them or question them, you get upset because you're like trying to defend your agreements and it's just so much confusion. But once you sort out what is truth, like, you gotta dig deep and go to each agreement that you have, each statement that you make in your head throughout the day and all of your thoughts, and you have to use logic to decide if those are true or false. And once you do that, you'll know who you are. You'll know what your personality is. So then when people tell you something about your personality, you can't take it personally because you already know who you are. You know, because you took that time to go through and sort out all your agreements and figure out if they're true or false. Now you know for a fact that they're true or false. And so if someone says something about you, it doesn't matter. Like, okay, you're wrong. Next. Move on. So, when people are angry, it's because of their own fear. All of these problems in this book that are described, everyone's problems are created by fear. Fear of breaking the agreements and being rejected by society. And so, like, before they can even let society reject them, or you, anyone, talking to y'all, everyone, before you can let society reject you, you just reject yourself in advance because you already know it's breaking society's rules. Some people aren't gonna like it, whatever. So you just reject yourself before you even give it a chance. Even opinions of yourself can be false. So sort through that shit. Don't even take your own thoughts personally. Like, when I say nothing, I mean nothing. Like, if a thought pops into your head, you don't take it personally. Use logic. Use deductive reasoning. So you can choose to believe other people's thoughts, and you can also choose to believe your own thoughts or not. You have a choice. It is your choice. Take nothing personally, okay? Nothing. Do not attach emotion to other people's words. Do not do it, no matter what. Okay. Third agreement. Don't make assumptions. Assumptions are believing something without proof or truth. So when you make an assumption, you don't actually know if that assumption is true or not. And then what ends up happening is you make the assumption, and then the assumption becomes an agreement, and that agreement becomes truth. And when you make an assumption, you believe it to be true. And you tell others that it is true. You tell yourself that it is true when we don't know if it is or not. We don't know. So you can't make assumptions. So the reason we make assumptions is because we are too scared to ask. We are too scared to question other people. We're too scared to question society. And so we don't ask, and we make assumptions, and we believe them to be true. And they're not, most of the time. And then that creates a bunch of fucking problems. Because you can come up with the whole story in your head. You can see someone out in public, and you can decide that you have a crush on them. You can be like, oh, that person's cute. And then you can be like, oh my god, they just looked at me. Oh my god, they liked me. Oh my god, they like me. Oh my god, we might get married one day. They might take me on a date, and then we can have a dog and kids and this house and a beautiful life, and we can start dating, and it's gonna be great. And like, you can literally come up with this entire fantasy and then believe it to be true. Like, I've seen so many girls. Why am I calling out girls? That's rude. I've seen so many people do this, and like, they'll literally have a guy talk to them one time. Sorry, I am a girl. That's why I'm calling them out. I know girls. They could have a guy speak to them like one time and like blink at them and like compliment their body or something, and then like create this whole fantasy like, oh, we're gonna date, like they like me, they want to date me, blah blah. Like, no, they probably don't even think about you ever, to be honest. People think about themselves, they don't think about you. They might, I hope they do, for your sake, but like, be realistic, alright? Like, use your logic. If they like you, they'll show you in their actions. Actions are truth. That is a good way to differentiate what is true and what is false. Actions are truth, pretty much, most of the time. If you're confused at first, just focus on actions, do not focus on words. My camera won't stop overheating. But anyways, so the fog is also misinterpretation. So when you assume, you're causing misinterpretation and confusion and fog. And that's also adding to why we don't know that we're all the universe and why we're not comprehending that. So another example is like in a relationship, we often assume that the other person should know what we want without us ever saying it. That's another form of assumption. So then like, you're like, oh, I wish they did the dishes or whatever. That's a bad example, whatever. But you assume that they already knew that you wanted something and then didn't do it on purpose to hurt you or to make you upset or whatever. And so then you get upset at them and you're like, oh, can't believe they did this to me. Ugh. And it's like the person literally didn't know that you wanted that at all whatsoever. So that's another way making assumptions can cause a lot of harm in relationships. You have to ask. Like, be so clear, so ridiculously clear with your communication. If you always communicate what you want and the other person is able to communicate that back to you, like, oh no, I don't want this, it literally becomes, your life becomes so simple when you start communicating in this way, instead of like playing these weird like guessing games and like feeling all this crazy emotion over what you're trying to figure out. Like, you'll be trying to figure out if what someone thinks of you. Literally ask them or look at their actions and figure it out. Like, pretty simple. Like, it's not as complicated as you think. But if you literally communicate, this is what I want, this is what I need, this is what I can do for you in return, this is what I can't do for you, this is what I won't do for you, this is what I'm looking for in life, this is what I want out of someone. If you're able to communicate that in an effective way, and then the person's like, oh, well, I don't want to do that, I'm not going to do that. Okay, bye. It was good talking to you. Nice to meet you. But I'm gotta go. And you just move on with yourself. Like, life becomes so simple. Like, you don't have to stop trying to connect with people that make you feel weird and don't do what you need and what you want. what you're asking for and can't do that for you and refuse to do that for you, stop communicating with them. Like, stop, like, just say, okay, bye. Like, oh, you love me for me? Okay, cool. Let's stay together. Oh, you don't? You want to change me? Okay, bye. Okay, bye-bye. So another reason we don't ask questions is because of fear that others will judge us in the same way we judge ourselves. Let me repeat that. We're scared to ask questions. Instead, we make assumptions because fear others will judge us the same way we judge and abuse ourselves. So you can only accept abuse from others just at the limit of the amount you abuse yourself. So if you abuse yourself so much and then another person comes along and abuses you just a little bit less than you abuse yourself, you'll stay with them. You'll stay around them. You'll stay wanting their attention. But if they go a little bit higher over that threshold and they abuse you a little more than you abuse yourself, then that's the point where you'll leave. So if you can lower the amount of self-abuse you do on a daily basis, then that amount will lower from others. Science, basic math, all right? So, oh my God, another thing we tell ourselves is, my love will change this person. If you don't fucking love the person how they are the day you met them, if you think, oh, well, when we're together, maybe this will get better because I can teach them and I can guide them. Like, no, the fuck you can't. People will change if they want to change. If you don't love the person exactly how they are the day you met them, then fucking leave them alone, all right? I'm going to read a passage from page 70. Because some of these just need to be quoted, all right? Where were we? So, often when we go into a relationship with someone you like, you have to justify why you like that person. You only see what you want to see, and you deny that there are things that you don't like about that person. You lie to yourself just to make yourself right. Then you make assumptions, and one of the assumptions is, my love will change this person. But this is not true. Your love will not change anybody. If others change, it's because they want to change, not because you can change them. Then something happens between you two and you get hurt. Suddenly you see what you didn't want to see before. Now it's amplified by your emotional poison. Now you have to justify your emotional pain and blame them for your choices. We don't need to justify love. It is there or not there. Real love is accepting other people the way they are without trying to change them. If we try to change them, this means we don't really like them. Alright? Love people for who they are, not for who you want them to be or who you think they may become. Who they are right now. The only thing is now. The past isn't now. You can't have the past. It is just a memory that is stored in your brain now. And the future is just a thought. A thought that you were having now. The only thing is now. Okay? Stop thinking about the future. Take it day by day. Love people for who they are today. Okay? Okay. Let's move on. I'm getting mad. Okay. Let's go on to the last agreement. I think we had enough of that one. The last agreement, I referenced it earlier, it is always do your best. I started asking Nina this, if she always does her best every night. I'm like, did you do your best? Okay, then you can go to bed. Good night. So this is the action part of the whole book. This is the part where you can be like, all right, let's get after it. Let's do what this book wants me to do because I know it'll change my life. All right, so always do your best, no more and no less. So if you do more than your best, sounds great. it's not great because our bodies and our existence and our souls and our spirits are on this earth to feel love and feel enjoyment and pure life and experience life and give love. Like, that's why we're here, okay? That's what the universe wants us to do. The universe wants us to give love as much as we can to everyone. So if you do more than your best at something during your day, you're not going to have any energy left over to give as much love as you could have if you just did your best and not more. So that's part of why not to do more than your best. Also, you'll harm yourself. If you do more than your best, you will cause physical harm. You'll cause mental harm. And you'll just feel overall like drained and bad, and that's not good. Like, that's not what we want. That's not the goal. The goal isn't to feel like, life is hard. Like, it's not meant to be hard. It's meant to be full of love, okay? So when you do less than your best, that's when those self-judgment thoughts come fucking flowing like waterfall, like pouring in. Because you're gonna feel shameful if you do less than your best. Like, you know you could have done more. You know you could have done better. You know you could have given more love today, and you didn't. And so you're gonna have regret. You're gonna feel shame. You're gonna feel bad about yourself. So you really gotta do what you can, all right? So you need to keep in mind that your best is going to change on a day-to-day basis depending on your immune system, your energy levels, etc. But when you do your best, you start to do what you love. Because doing your best makes you feel good. Because you're not self-judging and you're not harming yourself. You're just doing your best. You're always doing your best. You're like, damn, that was my best work. That shit was good. I feel great about what I just did because it was my best. And eventually you start doing shit you love. And the more you do shit you love, the more energy you're gonna have to do it. So like, people who have 9 to 5s that they hate, they go and they don't do their best. They do not do their best at their 9 to 5 because they don't like that shit, first of all. They don't want to, they don't care about it, and then they end up feeling like shit. And what do they do on the weekends? They go drink to escape. Let's talk about escapism real quick, y'all. I was telling my friend about this. I think it was in this chapter. I think I really processed this from this chapter. But inaction is literally denying life, and the universe put us on this earth to experience life and feel love and joy and give it to others. And so when you do things that are escapism, like doom scrolling, drinking, video games, etc., you're literally denying life and like rejecting all these beautiful creations that the universe is giving you. Because the reason you do this is because you're fearful. You're scared to express yourself because you're scared of what other people think of you. You're scared of what other people are going to say. You take things personally. And you're not confident because you don't understand the agreements. You're confused. You don't know what's true and what's false about your agreements and yourself. And so you're scared that other people are going to judge you in the same way that you judge yourself, because when you're not doing escapism shit, you're out living your life expressing your personality. If I go outside, I gotta choose something to do. That thing I do is gonna develop my personality. It's gonna become who I am if I keep doing it. So when you step outside and do shit and experience life and change your reality and do all this stuff, you're taking a risk, and the risk is judgment. I'm gonna read another page because shit is too good. If you do your best in the search for personal freedom, in the search for self-love, you will discover that it's just a matter of time before you find what you are looking for. It's not about daydreaming or sitting for hours dreaming in meditation. You have to stand up and be a human. You have to honor the man or woman that you are. Respect your body, enjoy your body, love your body, feed, clean, and heal your body. Exercise and do what makes your body feel good. This is called puja. Puja? I don't know. But they do it in India. It's a ritual where they take things that like embody or resemble God, their God, and they take them and like a doll or whatever the fuck, and they like bathe it and nourish it and like worship it and like say affirmations of love. Like they say like, I love you, God, thank you. Like give gratitude to this God. You need to do that with yourself because you are God. You getting it? Are you understanding, y'all? You are God, so you need to treat yourself like that. You need to worship yourself. You need to take care of yourself. Take care of your environment. Take care of your mental health. So, after a while of doing all this shit, it's gonna be hard because everyone in society is against you, or the dream of the planet is against you finding out what the truth is, you know, because of all these things that I've just explained. So it's gonna be hard, all right? But today, you need to look me in the eye, look at me right now, and say, I am going to follow these 4 agreements. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to be impeccable with my word. I'm going to not take anything personally. I literally forgot the last one. And I'm going to not make assumptions. Freedom is being ourselves without feeling shame or embarrassment and just feeling completely free to do whatever we want and be our loving, full of light selves. These agreements will lead you to freedom. Freedom from this fog and clear vision. Children live like this. Children live without fear of judgment. You can live like that too. All you have to do is change these agreements. It sounds hard, but practice makes perfect. It literally does. Repetition will ingrain these new agreements in your mind. You have to form a new agreement to replace the old one, by the way. I don't know if I told y'all that, but if you have an agreement, identify that agreement, figure out that is not true, it is negative, it is bad, it is emotional poison, it is virus. I'm going to replace it, and then replace the thought. And just do that. Just keep doing that. Keep going. Don't give up. Never give up. Never back down, never what? Never give up. Okay, y'all? This is the path to freedom. This will change your life. All of your agreements, your life is a manifestation of your dream. You can change the dream whenever you please. You have the power to do that. You have to be like a warrior. You have to fight your own mind. That's what it takes. You'll gain control over your emotions, and you will stop fueling the fear that is causing this dream of hell that you're living in. A fast way to do it, the way that I did it in conjunction with this, is shrooms, mushrooms. Please don't take this video down. Mushrooms. But you have to be ready to accept it. You have to be ready to do the work. You have to be ready to go down to the fucking core of your agreement. Look it straight in the eye and be like, this is not fucking true. This is not real. I do not believe this anymore. I'm letting this go. You could believe something so wholeheartedly. You have to get down and dirty and get into that fucking agreement and snap that shit apart. Fucking bang it up, alright? Go to the core. Go to the core of your agreement. Replace it. And just keep repeating. And eventually you will get there. I'm gonna read this about the parasite. From the Toltec point of view, all humans who are domesticated are sick, illness. They are sick because there is a parasite that controls the mind and controls the brain. The food for the parasite are the negative emotions that come from fear. If we look at the description of a parasite, we find that a parasite is a living being who lives off of other living beings, sucking their energy without any useful contribution in return, and hurting their host little by little. The judge, the victim, and the belief system fit this description very well. Together they comprise a living being made of psychic or emotional energy, and that energy is alive. Of course, it is not material energy, but neither are emotions. Emotions are not material energy, but we know that they exist. Our dreams are not material energy, but we know they exist. So anyways, that's kind of the end of the book. Just follow these agreements and I promise you your life will change. I literally didn't even realize that my life was changed until I came back like 2 years later and read the book again, and I was like, oh my god, this is a fucking perfect outline to change your life. Because the first time I read it, it's like, well, it's kind of boring. Like, well, it's not, I didn't think it was boring, but I wasn't like, oh my god, everyone, the solution is here. Like, I was just like, oh, good book. I'll keep that in mind. It's like really good advice. Yeah. But then I took the advice and now I'm like, whoa, this is perfect. It seems so simple, and it is. It is. Read the book, follow the book, read it again and again and again, and be aware. Meditation in conjunction with this book, it's gonna get you far, y'all. It's gonna take you to high places. Okay, I'm gonna go to bed. It's been a long day. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you take this and I hope you learn from it, and I hope it changes your life in the same way that it did mine. And I hope you pick up the book. This is not sponsored. Ron Miguel Ruiz, sponsor me. Thank you. Okay, I love you guys so much. Bye.